Welcome to the Overwatch Open final qualifier. It's going down between EXA and BRINGOS. We're about to jump into the third and final map in this series, this best of three. It's going to be Hollywood. And ZP, I'm just going to pass this to you. Who do you think has the edge in this fight?
Undoubtedly, it has to be BRINGOS, and you have to just look at the fact that they do have more experience going into this next fight. BRINGOS has played Hollywood in and out for really months and months on end now, so EXA is going to have a hard road to climb here. I think if EXA was going to take the series, their opportunity was really on the last map in Nepal. Unfortunately for them, they weren't able to really capitalize on that. So for them, they're going to have to bring it here on Hollywood. It's not impossible, but I do think it's going to be a tough road for EXA moving forward.
Yeah, I wonder if we're going to see a bunch more Genji play. I do think that Genji does play decently well on Hollywood. Will Ladano stick with Zarya? You know, we're probably going to see Zarya at both sides here. Yeah, I'm interested to see what the teams pick, as we actually did see a few unorthodox picks in that last game, ZP.
Yeah, we did, and I think also the one thing that's going to be a turning factor here is that while we have been seeing more Tracer on Hollywood in general, I don't know if Carnifex is really going to want to go Tracer for a lot of it, so his McCree play has been kind of miss as opposed to hit for most of the day here today, so Carnifex, he probably will have to get good play as McCree, and thus far he hasn't had it here tonight. We'll see if he can do it as we do roll into Hollywood.
Yep. Hollywood, a tried and true map. It's been around for a really long time. I mean, the game's been out since May 24th, but we've been playing in the beta for much longer than that, including these two teams. Actually, I'm not sure if EXA had formed back then, but this BRINGOS team has been around since the early days of the beta, has played in numerous tournaments. And here we go. Hollywood is the map. Game number 3 between these two teams. Who will take it and move on for those seeding points, those delicious seeding points, getting them into the playoffs, starting in the 24th of this month, just a couple of weeks.
Right, and it's not just seeding points at play here too. Of course, the winner of this weekend's qualifier, if you win it all, you just outright qualify and you get one of the top 4 seeds, so you don't even have to worry about that. But we are getting into it. It's going to be EXA here on the defense, and that defensive lineup is going to be Fighter here on the Zarya, Adrenaline on the Winston, Lolao on the Lucio, Link on Reaper, Ambush going to be on Zenyatta, and Carnifex, of course, on McCree. A lot of pressure on the shoulders right now.
Yeah, absolutely. So, yeah, attacking first, we're going to have BRINGOS, the BRINGOS boys, coming on out. And interesting to have no Reinhardt here on defense. That's a surprise to me. I mean, you definitely like to see Winston more so even on attack than on defense, in my opinion. So interesting to see Adrenaline sticking with the ape. He's making it happen, the scientist. All right, let's get into this, as it does look like both teams will start to clash around the point. BRINGOS moving on in, and Ladano's up top. That's an aggressive push, and I see why they've chosen Winston now. He's pushed this aggressive defense. They're trying to catch BRINGOS off guard by jumping right into the action right off the bat, but it doesn't work. It doesn't work at all, as BRINGOS is collecting kill after kill. Ladano making it happen. We saw him play extremely well with McCree earlier today, so no surprise to see that coming out again. And that is a clean wipe. And again, I have to come down to the Winston pick as your secondary tank.
Yeah, the Winston pick as a secondary tank is bad because you look at what Ladano was able to do there. Ladano was able to lay in all sorts of poke. He didn't have to worry about the Reinhardt shield stopping him. And he also out-McCree Carnifex in that last fight as well. So in the end, Ladano brought the pain. Carnifex still struggling. And I have to agree with you there, not having the Reinhardt. And they still, right now, they're not running Reinhardt here on EXA. This is unconventional to say the least here on Hollywood.
Yeah.
It's not unprecedented, but
yeah,
it's rare.
It definitely does make a little bit more sense to have the Winston on this second point. He's able to get up onto the roofs very easily, but look at this. BRINGOS is already up there. They've forced the Winston away because they had the sheer numbers, so Winston being able to get the high ground advantage probably isn't going to happen, at least not for the next 30 seconds or so, as EXA really has to spend this time to regroup. They don't have a ton of ultimates, although they do have a little bit to their name. Both teams actually stacked just a little bit, but Ur is going to get the first kill here, which makes this next phase of Hollywood even less likely to be stopped by EXA on defense.
The other issue there too is that that's Carnifex dying to his Zenyatta at the very end. Carnifex needs to be applying more pressure there because right now, I mean, everything's going well with BRINGOS. They've been chaining Destiny to chain. Ladano taking out Genji in the back line. Shades in the front on the Winston. It's just been kill after kill here for BRINGOS as Shades piles on, gets the triple kill with Death Blossom, following it through. And things cannot be worse here for EXA, as BRINGOS clearly showing their expertise here on payload maps.
Yeah, the only silver lining now is that EXA is stacked to the teeth with ultimates, every one of their 6 players. Rocking an ultimate and just waiting for the moment to use it. You have to find a way to space them out, though. You don't want to blow them all at the exact same time. You want to have at least 1 or 2 to save at the end if you can, and not just waste them at once. But there comes the Graviton Surge. It's going to begin the engagement. A couple of ultimates now dropped for both teams. BRINGOS surviving all right. 1 down, 2 down now for BRINGOS, but it's even. 4 versus 4 on the payload as we speak.
Yep, and here comes BRINGOS once more off their own Graviton. They will get 4 kills, and they're bringing this right back. And again, EXA just struggling to get anything done here. You take a look at the next fight. They do have both support ults up and a Dragon Blade, so a lot can be on Link here to bring this back. He will have a Sound Barrier to help him out, but he will need to get at least 2 kills off that Dragon Blade, or BRINGOS will be able to bring it back the other way. But you look at BRINGOS, they also have support ult, so it's not going to be easy for Link. In fact, he could run into a Transcendence and get absolutely nothing done. Now
I'm wondering how and why EXA didn't use their support ultimates in that last fight. Now both teams are going to drop the Sound Barrier, and the both support ultimates dropped for BRINGOS as well. Ambush for EXA still has the Transcendence, and the kills are finally starting to go the way of the Italian team as they combo a couple of ultimates. Link is able to get 3 with the Dragon Blade, and Ambush able to keep his whole team very healthy with that Transcendence.
Well, I mentioned going into that fight that Link definitely need to come in with a big Dragon Blade, at least 2 or more. He exceeded expectations, got the triple kill, and will keep EXA in it. But here's the problem for EXA is that you take a look at the overall time remaining right now. It's already, right now, if BRINGOS were to end this would be a sub 5-minute time. They need to buy at least another 2 minutes if they want to give their own attack a shot. We do see Carnifex in the back of the Deadeye. Is going to get taken. Oh no, we switch out there. Fighter goes down to Mint. 2 kills here for BRINGOS. They're moving in, and down goes Link already. They're down their shield tank. They're down a DPS. BRINGOS is no worse for the wear. Ladano able to take out Carnifex. BRINGOS going in for the kill. This would be a sub 5-minute time. It's about to be 4:30 on the dot. 4:31.
Ouch.
This is now very rough for EXA as they go into their own attack run.
It doesn't get much more dominant than that. Really, truthfully, EXA was only able to stop the payload 1 single time here on Hollywood, and it was at the very end. And it was on the back of this Dragon Blade that we're watching right here, right now. So unfortunately for EXA, this means that they have to beat that time of 4 minutes and 30 seconds, lest they drop out very early here against the Swedish foes in BRINGOS.
Yeah, and we'd have to look at the scoreboard here, but I'm not sure EXA actually has enough points to be in the top 12. So in a sense, this could be an elimination match here for EXA, where if they lose this game, they won't be going forward. We'd have to double check that. I think they might be in it, but either way, I know they certainly don't have a whole lot of points in any case, so it's still hardly ideal.
Yeah, not good at all if you're a fan of EXA or an Italian fan of Overwatch. Your team is on the brink right now against BRINGOS. And all BRINGOS has to do, really, is get more than 1 solid stop. If they're able to even hold EXA from getting this first point for more than a minute, it's over.
I would put their magic number a little bit higher. I would say that, given the way the teams can go forward quickly, I would put BRINGOS at 3 to 4 team wipes here to win this map. If they get 3 to 4, I can't see how EXA brings out, regardless of how well they do after that. So, no, let's go on the lower side. Let's say the BRINGOS are magic number 3. They get 3 team wipes, 3 full team wipes. They should have this map, and thus they will move on.
So ZP, what you're saying is there's a chance.
There is a chance. There's totally a chance here for EXA. We've seen quicker times in Hollywood, but not much quicker. So EXA, everything's going to have to go right for them. And if they get stalled on A for the first 2 attacks, I would actually call it done right there.
Now, is this going to be a double Lucio speed boost out of the gate, or is EXA actually going to be playing with an Ana here? We'll find out in just a second. I wouldn't hate the Ana pick, because if you're able to get combo with the Dragon Blade, that can wipe an entire team right there, right then. Folks, we're seeing Ana in competitive play.
Yep, Ana is coming out here. We haven't seen a little bit more of Ana in competitive play. She hasn't been totally absent as of late, so it's not as impressive, but it's still nice to see her, as she certainly does not come out as much as, say, as Zenyatta does. But this is a triple support comp, so it's not like they're giving up Zenyatta for doing it. They're going to try and get the first pick off here. Link moving in, a little bit risky on the Roadhog, is able to get some payoff there. Already 61% of the Dragon Blade. And again, for EXA, everything has to go well. The Nano Boost is already out. That is going to be an empowered Monkey in the back line. Ladano and Mint, though, they don't care. 2 kills here for the defense. Zero goes down. 3 for the defense, and they're holding strong despite that very quick Nano Boost.
Oh man, how bad does that feel? Get the Nano Boost up within a minute, but not actually make any use of it whatsoever. I don't really like putting it on Winston. I almost would have just preferred just hold back, just wait for that Genji ultimate.
So it took Bringos so long to go in here. One more team wipe, and I'm going to say it's over because you pretty much never see times in where they're lower. But oh my goodness, Shades obliterates Link to start that team fight. It's already 65 in favor of Bringos. They burn their sound barrier. Ladano with the fall through. Down goes Lolau. And this is going from bad to worse here for EXA. I don't think we've ever seen a Hollywood time that's sub 3 minutes, or we have it's like 2:55 or something like that. So at this point, I'm pretty comfortable in calling this for Bringos.
Yeah, it looks like Bringos has been able to get this comfortably, and that's somewhat anticlimactic considering the past 2 games were quite exciting. Even though Nepal did go 3-0 to Bringos, the games themselves were actually very exciting and very close. And back and forth with some unorthodox picks as well. We saw another unorthodox pick out of EXA. Did not end up paying off for them, and man, that just hurts.
So there's a lot of moving parts to any Overwatch comp. Certainly, Bringos had a lot of really good play from Shades at points, from Ladano at other points, and everything going forward. But I will say this, is that if you did want to distill things into one-on-one matchups, I definitely felt like EXA rose and fell off Carnifex. Carnifex on Lijiang, when he was playing Tracer, had some enormous carry power and actually brought EXA over the top. But I felt like in the other maps he was much more quiet, and EXA really couldn't replace that loss. Because now there's only 2 minutes left here, but even if this fight goes well for EXA, they're just not going to have the time to bring this from here all the way to the end. So
not technically possible at this point. We are just going to play it out until the teams do call GG in about a minute here. Probably going to happen for you guys. But EXA, they put up a great fight. I was super impressed with multiple players on the team playing well and showing up for Italy. Even though they've collected the point here, it's too little, too late. They will be playing it out here. Moving on to the second phase, we'll see just how far they can get as a consolation prize.
Yeah, for Bringos here, this is where you might have a situation like, oh my goodness, they're getting such a great push at the end. Why couldn't they do this earlier? If a team knows that they haven't won mathematically, they do check out even a little bit here. I expect that on the next team wipe, we'll see EXA call GG officially. But seems to see Link right now building up Dragon Blade. A little bit of extra practice here towards the end. We will see if it pays off.
Yeah, now I need to actually pop open OverwatchOpen.com to check out the rankings, see how many points EXA has. Are they officially out, or do they still have a chance to show up into the playoffs? You guys can check that out on your own, of course. Just head on over to that URL and give it a check. Check out all of the rankings.
Yaraton coming in here just to be the dagger in the heart, just to be sure. Does set up Bringos for 3 kills. Ladano with the fall through. Yep, 43 seconds remaining. Bringos is going to win this fight. Should see GG's called here at any moment.
Yep, the timer does tick down. The final moments here for EXA. And well fought, but GG's will be called. And that does bode well for Bringos, who is still struggling to make a really strong impact in the EU scene. They've been around for a long time. They've fought well. They've played together. Maybe this is their chance here in the Overwatch Open. They've got a very uphill battle, though.
Bringos definitely looked much better after they got past the first map. It definitely seemed like they needed some time to warm up. And yet, on the same note, what happened on Lijiang still stings. All the credit in the world to EXA and how they played, but for Bringos, a team that wants to be able to take the next step, a team that wants to beat your Rogues of the world, your Misfits of the world, it wasn't a great showing.
Anyway, that was the match. It is going to be Bringos taking the victory in 2-1 fashion. First game was super close. Next two, not so much, unfortunately, and we've been rejoined by Machine.
Hello, gentlemen.
Hey.
Been surprised. I said I wanted some underdog stories, and EXA did taunt us somewhat. We got to see a bit, kind of a stronger look from them. It was nice to see a full 3 maps in the round of 16. It's not something, I mean, Andrew will testament to that. We don't always get to see games that go that close. Hollywood, admittedly, a rather one-sided affair. I often try and ask the casters to try and identify a silver lining, you know, something that we can take away from EXA. Is it just the fact that we got to a third that will be the silver lining this time for the Italians?
You know, I mean, look. Lijiang
was there some individuals that stood up? Yeah, okay.
Carnifex in particular, we gushed about him all match long. his Tracer is really something else. So if I'm looking at that roster and figuring out how to round it out, it seems to me that they need to find someone who fits well into the McCree position. Because any good team in Overwatch today needs to have a high-level McCree player who is really adept with that character. You know, he is point-and-click guy, but he's also got some you know, there's some subtlety to the character. So we got to see a McCree main, I guess, come out from that team and establish themselves, because it did not seem it was Carnifex.
No, Ladano was able to just win those matchups that he was looking for, and it was rough for Carnifex. I mean, it clearly impacted them, where you can't have your McCree losing most of your McCree battles. It's very hard for you to actually come back in and bring that back. But I'd say a silver lining there just for the EXA there, if nothing else is, as mentioned, they did take one map.
Yep.
And for Carnifex, even though he might be rough around the edges, he did show some heights of potential there where round it out, maybe get better consistency, see where things go from there. The future is still bright here with Overwatch, so lots more opportunities.
It was his tracking that I know Ben was kind of fawning over. You're just sitting there like, his crosshair is just locked onto these players. Fantastic work from him. We were expecting to see more Tracer. In fact, we did in our incredible play of the game as well. We were talking about the shift of the meta. We were talking about the fact that we previously saw these Zenyatta and Genjis bouncing around all around the server. Now we get the Graviton and the Pulse Bomb combination. That's what these ultimates have been combining and causing havoc across the various Overwatch games. This one is our incredible play of the game, brought to you guys by Republic of Gamers, ROG, so kindly helping us present to you some of the best plays of every single game we bring to you tonight. But this one does feature Tracer, and it is, of course, her best friend ever, the Graviton Surge. It's going to be throwing that one down. It looks like it's going to be easy for Shades to initiate, and none other than the Pulse Bomb of Zaf to wrap things up. You can see it's actually a near team wipe alongside Ladano. They pushed together. I'm not sure how quickly they did get disintegrated. We saw examples of it throughout the entire game, but just both Pulse Bomb and just individual skill prowess enabling them to rip through the entirety of the opposing side. We saw actually one where he got 4 or 5 kills with the Pulse Bomb alone, and that's just the power of Tracer, my friends. The power of Tracer alongside that Graviton Surge. But Bringos surge forward into the next round, and gentlemen, do we feel like this is the same Bringos as always? ZP, you were sitting there saying Gatekeeper. Well, they've kept the gate closed. What else?
I feel like they're still gatekeeper status. I mean, the fact that all credit to where credit is due for EXA, I mentioned that before, but if you are going to go forward and say, we are a team that's going to take the next step, we are going to take out your Rogues, we are going to take out your Reuniteds, we're going to take out your Misfits, you're not going to do that if you're dropping maps to EXA right now. And that's just kind of where things are. And Bringos, certainly, they can try and bring things up as they go forward in the tournament.
See what you did there. Bringos have to bring. So it's good.
They got to bring the pain.
They do.
But honestly, I think one of the cool things about this team is how fluid they were changing the roster around. A lot of teams do have players who can flex from tank to DPS, but they did that pretty seamlessly, which definitely bodes well. Everybody should be able to play a couple of different classes.
Yeah, you have to stay flexible. Welcome to Overwatch. This is just our first game, though, of the European side of things for our final week of the Overwatch Open, at least for the initial stages of this, the group stages. Coming up, though, we have a spectacular game that you are not going to want to miss. It's a real treat. We get Anox versus Reunited. Yes, indeed, ladies and gentlemen.
Beautiful.
I talked about Anox. They're already high in the points, but they're going to want that locked-in spot for seeding. There's no doubt about it. And battling against them is Reunited, a team that we saw already are in part of that stack of 5 that are going to be wanting to break past those. So we're going to take a break. When we do come back, we get to see how that one does go down in a best of 3. It's going to be a big one, and you don't want to miss it.